the novel, Chai Tea Sunday, is actually based on the true stories of two women, one of adversity and one of a woman's determination to find hope. Author Heather A. Clark, who's from Oakville, originally from St. Catharines, joins us now in studio. And you didn't start out as a writer. This was something that you did on mat leave.
Yes, it is.
It's a project.
I was on maternity leave for the second time and needed a little bit of a passion project, a me project, when my kids went to bed at night. And so I started writing when they went to bed. It was something I had always wanted to do, and I guess a page turned into a chapter, which turned into a manuscript, and then it ended up in the right hands eventually down the road, and suddenly it was going.
Because you weren't really pushing for a publisher or anything. You were just passing the book from friend to friend to friend.
That's
and
right.
It's all about knowing people, right? And somebody got it into the hands of a publisher. Now, you're not even you're in the marketing industry.
That's right.
So no formal writer training or whatever. So this is remarkable. But
thank you.
Part of the story, the part that kind of begins the story is from your personal experience.
That's right.
You had a bout of infertility.
That's right, yes. In the book, Nikki, who's the main character, she and her husband go through some pretty complicated fertility issues. And although those issues were not the exact same from a technical or a scientific perspective as what my husband, Brian, and I went through. Yeah. And I certainly drew on the emotional side of it. We have 3 beautiful children now, Avery, who's 4, Jacob, who's 2, and little baby Emmy, who's just turned 4 months.
Say hi from Mom.
Hi. Hope they're watching. Yes, and but certainly I was able to draw on the emotional side. It's a pretty tough thing to go through.
So then from this tragedy, and I don't want to give away what happens in the book, but from this tragedy, the character Nikki decides to go to Kenya. And this is where your cousin's true life experience comes in.
That's right. How it came about is she had just returned from her first trip to Kenya, and she and I were catching up at a family event, and I was really drawn to her stories and everything that happened to her there. And it wasn't the devastation or the despair or the poverty, all of which too much exists, but it was what connected each of these things together, which for me was hope. And it was how the children at the orphanage, where she has now repeatedly volunteered, despite having next to nothing, have so much unconditional love, so much joy, so much free spirit. And I wanted to really take that element of what I saw there and turn it into a larger book and have that be the thread, what the story that's threaded throughout the entire
That
book.
you don't really have to have the material things to be happy and to have hope.
That's right.
These children have nothing.
That's right. They really have nothing, and the woman in the book, Nikki, who goes there, really draws from that, and it's about her, despite having gone through her own personal struggles, it's about her courage and tenacity and willingness to continue to go forward, to give back, and so that I think is what threads it all together.
Right, and it kind of shows it too. You know, take a look inside and think, okay, this is a really bad place for me right now, but wow, there are so many worse things that could be happening, and just how she kind of made them better.
That's right, that's right. And I think, you know, one of the amazing things that happened is that when my cousin was there, we had agreed, she went back for the second time, and we had agreed to stay in touch. And we did that because I wanted to get the detail that I needed for the book. So things like, what does the grass look and feel like outside of the orphanage, or what time did the sun get up? And what happened was even bigger than that, is that when she went back for the second time, and we were staying in touch, and the story that actually happens in the book found us, and it came alive for us, and I was writing it in real time while she was there and I was here.
Wow.
I was writing the story into the book. So, I mean, her story is as heartbreaking as it is heartwarming, and as heartwarming as it is heartbreaking.
I cried a lot during her story because but then at the end, you know, there is hope.
That's right. And for me, it was just as emotional, and it was like tears flowing onto a keyboard when I was writing it quite often.
Imagine.
And it's one of the reasons that it's so important for me to give back to a charity that I've partnered with, which is called Artbound, and it's a fabulous charity. They partner with Free the Children, and what they do is they raise money to build schools in developing nations, and they go in and they teach children things that have to do with art, such as beadwork, so that the children can go and sell it in markets and make a sustainable income for them and their families and break the cycle of poverty.
Right, because the poverty in the book and just the lack of safety there, that, you know, that your cousin couldn't walk at night by herself.
That's right.
With anybody.
That's right.
You know.
That's right.
Even with her family there with her.
Yeah, it's very true. And I hope that all of those elements of Africa really come
They
through.
did. And actually the descriptions, the red dirt and everything and how dusty everything was and the need for rain and everything like that. So you're working on another book right now?
I am, yes. And it's due out in 2014.
Okay.
So a couple
and you're
years
so
from now.
lucky, readers are so lucky as well that Chai Tea Sunday is available at all major bookstores right now.
It's available online and in all
Thinking
bookstores.
of changing careers now? Becoming a full-time writer? You should.
Thank you.
So Heather A. Clark is the website.com is the website where you can get more information on the charity as well.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Heather, thanks so much.